everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and it's time to blow up some books. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Self-Destructing books, it's a video that I make every single year where I select 10 books, and if I have not read them in a 12-month period, they will be unhauled. Today I'm going to be reacting to the Self-Destructing books video that I made in 2021, and we're going to see what I've read, what I haven't read. Now, when I make these videos, you'd think that I would keep a check on what books are included so that I could maybe try and read them if I'm worried about not getting to them in time. That is just not generally the case. I make that video and I forget about it, so I don't really have much of a clue what is in the video that we're going to be seeing today. I did scan through it a little bit and I've seen 2 of the books, but the other 8 are a mystery. So I'm really interested in seeing what books are going to be self-destructing today, but before I load up that video, I would like to introduce you guys to today's video sponsor, which is once again the wonderful Book of the Month. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Book of the Month, they are a US only book subscription that curates a monthly selection of brand new hardback titles across a variety of genres and offer them to you at a price that is cheaper than you can find at most retailers. So if you guys would like to check out Book of the Month for yourself, you can click on the link at the top of my description box, enter the code Becca at checkout and get yourself a brand new hardback release for just $9.99. It's exciting times as well because in the past, Book of the Month have offered 5 monthly selections. However, from March onwards, they are now offering 5 to 7, giving you more books to choose from every single month. So in the month of March, there are 7 options, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that I'm excited about every single one of these. The March romance pick is Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. This one is a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew with a Loveverse TV doctor and a hopeless romantic. For a fantasy pick, we have The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd. This is a gorgeous cover, and this one is about a disgraced mapmaker whose father turns up dead at the New York Public Library. For the mystery pick, we have The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This one is about a woman who's looking for a fresh start. She leaves her job and asks her brother if she can crash with him. He says yes, but when she turns up at his Paris apartment, she finds out that he isn't there, and as time goes on, she starts to assume that he's missing. For literary fiction, we have The Verifiers by Jane Peck. Now, I'm not normally one for literary fiction, but the main character in this one is a mystery lover who works for an online dating detective agency, and when one of their clients goes missing, she takes it upon herself to look into the case. The thriller pick is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, and this one is about a true crime blogger who is interviewing a woman who has been acquitted of 2 cold case slayings. For true crime, we have Tell Me Everything by Erica Krause. Now, I've never read a true crime book before, but over the last few months I've become obsessed with the true crime podcast Morbid, so I'm really excited to give this one a go. And this one is part memoir, part literary true crime about a landmark sexual assault investigation and the female private investigator who helped to crack the case open. And then finally, the last March pick for Book of the Month is a contemporary fiction, which is The Unsinkable Greta James by Jennifer E. Smith. This one is about a singer-songwriter whose mother dies and she breaks down on stage. The footage goes viral, and while she's trying to piece together her life and deal with her grief, she agrees to go on a cruise with her estranged father. So not even kidding, I'm so excited about all of Book of the Month's March selections, even though some of them are not my usual. But if any of these have sparked your interest and you'd like to check them out, please don't hesitate to click on the link at the top of my description box and enter the code Becca at checkout to get one of these for just $9.99. And of course, once again, a big thank you to Book of the Month for continuing to support my channel. Okay, so now that I've hauled 7 books, it's time to unhaul 10. So this video was posted on the 18th of March, so technically these books still have 10 days of life left in them, and I am doing a new installment of the Unhaul project very soon. I'm combining it with the Magical Readathon mini round, so I may hang on to a couple of these if I do plan to read them in that week, but if they're not read by the end of that week, then they will be gone. So let us crack into it. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca, and today I have 10 books that are going to self-destruct in 12 months. Okay, so we don't need to listen to all of the introduction. Let's just get straight to the books. Book number 1. Included in one of these videos previously. So starting off, we have The Fandom by Anna Day. This is an art copy that was included in an Illumicrate like a million years ago. Not even an Illumicrate that I had. I've been a rep Okay, The Fandom by Anna Day. Can confirm that I have not read this one. This is about a group of teenagers who cosplay and then end up sucked into the world of like the thing that they're cosplaying, I think. I had very little interest in it when I put it in this video, and I have absolutely no interest in it now, so that's definitely gone. We then have Nerve by Gian Ryan, and once again I've heard that this is better in concept than it is in execution, but it is absolutely 100% better in concept than execution. I did read this, it wasn't all that long ago actually, and it really creeped me out actually. It's about this online game of dares where you can like watch or participate, and this girl is trying to get like one up on her friend who always gets the attention, like she's the mousy friend that's always forgotten, and she joins these dares. Considering she's like a 17-year-old girl, they're really sordid, and they get more and more sordid and include her posting videos of her like partially like revealing herself for thousands of people of undisclosed ages to see. Even though they were really sordid and creepy and dangerous, and the fact that she's a minor, they weren't actually dangerous or like really life threatening, and I just wanted this book to be a bit exciting, and it just wasn't. So I think that one has already been unhauled. I don't even think it's in my unhaul pile. Oh wait, no, it is. I'm actually gonna put these over here so you guys can see them to get out of hand. One that I've acquired quite recently is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. This was included in I think the December Illumicrate. The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I have read this one, and I knew this is one of the ones that I knew was in this video. The other one was The Fandom, so the rest are going to be a surprise. I did read this one. This is a young adult mystery about a group of teenagers who are all cousins, and their parents were cut off from the family estate by their grandmother, and they receive a letter from their grandmother inviting them to go to the island that she practically owns. She's like the most influential person on it, and she owns like a resort, and they're really confused as to why they got the invitation, but they decide to go to see if they can find out why their parents were cut off. I really enjoyed this actually. I think I gave it maybe 4 stars, and I'm not a big fan of mysteries. I'm usually more of a thriller gal, and I also don't really love them in YA because I like thrillers to be a little bit dark, but I really enjoyed this one. However, because it is a mystery, I know all the twists in here, so I'll never reread it, so I will be unhauling it. Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World by Ashley Herring Blake. This is a children's contemporary story. Oh my god. So if you're new to my channel, I have something called the Unhaul Project, where every 3 months I do a vlog where I read a bunch of books that I'm unsure about and thinking of unhauling. I do have a full playlist if you want to get the full information about what all of that is, but the last installment I think I did of the Unhaul Project, I read these 3 books, which have just come up next to each other in this video, and I know for sure it wasn't intentional because I used my Bookopoly board and I rolled, got a prompt, and then picked a book, so it's just turned out like this, which is real weird. But I have read Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World. This one is a children's contemporary about a girl who loses her home in a tornado or hurricane, and she loses her sketchbook that has lots of pictures that she's drawn of herself holding hands with other girls. So she's been exploring her sexuality a little bit, but not really knowing how to talk to anybody about it. I really enjoyed this story, and it was a lot more complex than I was expecting it to be going in, because we also have some family issues where Ivy's feeling pushed out of her family as well. But it's a children's contemporary. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the messages in here were important. I think it's a must read, especially for kids around the same age as Ivy, but I will never reread it. The Good Hawk by Joseph Elliott. This is one that I received in a subscription box that I repped for a while. I think it was the Book Box Club. Yep. The Good Hog by Joseph Elliott. This is one that I hadn't heard of, and I still have not heard anybody talking about this, but it says Agatha patrols the seawall with pride despite those in her clan who question her right to be there because of the condition she was born with. Jamie is a reluctant angler full of self-doubt and afraid of the sea. The synopsis of this doesn't tell me anything really. Like, there's just nothing about the cover or the synopsis of this book that's giving me anything for me to even start to be intrigued about it. So I'm not actually sad to say goodbye to that one because I've been seeing it in my unhaul cart and just nothing. Like, I don't even feel anything when I look at that book. One that I don't know a great deal about, but I don't really want to know a great deal about, is Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. This was a reasonably popular thriller a few years ago, and I believe it follows a girl who went to either a boarding school or a like private school. And I have read The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll, and I was so angry when I got to the end of that book. So it is a mystery, a thriller about this girl who used to go to this private boarding school, and she's about to get married and she invites the media to cover her wedding, and everybody wants to know what happened at this school the time that she was there. I was trying to guess the twist the entire way through because I had no idea what had happened at this school and why everybody wanted to know her story. The whole thing that happened at this school had nothing to do with this main character. She just happened to be there at the time that this thing happened, which is fine when you're looking for an account, like somebody's account of what's going on, but this entire book leads you to believe that she's done something terrible and that like it's a big deep dark secret she's going to be uncovering when we get to the twist, and it's just not that at all. She just happened to be there at the time that something was going on, and then on top of that she is a really entitled, privileged, insufferable, selfish main character. So to have to put myself in her perspective for the entirety of this book, for it to turn out that there's literally no significance to me really following her because she had very little to do with anything that went on, was just so frustrating to me. That one is gone. It's not even in my Unhaul pile. I read it at some point last year and it's already gone to a new home. The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. This is a young adult zombie story. I've heard that the first book in this series is pretty good, but the rest of the series it goes downhill. I did some The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. Have not read this. It's one that I added to my Goodreads in like 2014 or 15 or something, when I was first getting back into reading and discovering like YA, dystopian fantasy, all of that kind of stuff. And I did sample, as I think I'm about to say in this video, I sampled the first chapter in a try a chapter tag. I'm not sad to let this go. This is the reason why I do the self-destructing books, because when they've been on the cart for a year I kind of lose all attachment to them. So yeah, not sad to see this one go, and not even mad that I didn't read it. The 100 by Cass Morgan. I picked this up because there's a TV show based on it, and I still have not watched that TV show, so I have no like real driving force to pick up this book. And I also heard that the show ended terribly. But I did hear that the show ended terribly. I am still going to try the show, but I did pick this up and I tried it and I DNF'd it because it's about this group of teenagers and everyone's abandoned Earth and they live on ships that kind of orbit Earth, and these teenagers have all been detained for whatever reason. They've committed some sort of petty crime up on the ship where they live, or more serious in some instances, but as kind of like a punishment they are sent down to Earth to find out whether the Earth is now habitable or not. So I enjoyed that concept, but I got halfway through this book and everyone was just focused on the petty dramas that they had between each other, which is fine. I mean, I get it, they're teenagers, but they land on this planet and they're just worried about finding their long lost love that they haven't seen in 6 months. And it's like, but you're on planet Earth, you've lived in a spaceship your entire life, like what are you seeing? What does Earth look like? Are you scared? Are there any like wildlife around trying to kill you? And they were just bothered about their little sister that they couldn't find, which I mean I feel like I would be as well, but still it just wasn't focusing on the elements that I wanted it to, so I just DNF'd at about the 50% point. Enchanté by Gita Trelise. This one is an ARC that I picked up at a charity shop. I do tend to pick up ARC copies at charity shops because I get really excited at seeing an ARC copy in a charity shop. It only cost me like £1, I think, but this just says on it, there's no press release in it, and on the back it just says, like her ancestors before her, she would use this dark and creeping magic to go to court to glitter to win. Enchanté by Gita Trelise. I have not read this one. I feel like when I do the Unhaul project and when I'm picking books from the Unhaul cart, I'm not picking up fantasy. I think that's because I generally read a lot of fantasy, so there's so much good fantasy that I'm reading that when I'm doing the Unhaul project I tend to go for things like thrillers that I don't read very often, and just the nature of a thriller puts it onto my Unhaul cart, because like I said with the cousins, once I've read them I don't tend to keep them. So yeah, I haven't read this one. I'm not especially sad about it. I've heard some like okay reviews for this, but I haven't really heard anyone talking about it since it was released. There were quite a few ARCs flying around when this book was released, but since then I've pretty much heard nothing. So I mean, this could be a hidden gem that I'm giving away, but it's fine. And another one that I picked up, I think this one cost me 25p from a Tesco charity table, and this one is Shadow Scent the Dark. I'm a bargain hunter, what can I say? Boom by PM Freestone. This one is, I think the magic system revolves around scent, and it says when disaster strikes, the crown prince lies poisoned, long suppressed rivalries threaten to blow the empire apart. It's up to Raquel, a poor village girl with a talent for fragrances, and Ash, the prince's loyal bodyguard, to find an antidote. Haven't read this one. What I will say say about it is that I've only heard good reviews for this book, but I'm not interested in it. I'm never gonna pick this up. So like, I'm kind of sad as well because it's a really pretty book. I did pick it up for 25p off a Tesco charity table though, which is the whole reason I have it. I'm sad because it's pretty, I'm sad because I've heard good things, but like, I need to be more realistic and I'm never gonna pick that up. So there we go. We have, oh my days, 8 of them heading to my Unhaul pile. I mean, 3 of them were already on there, which was those 3, and there's also the 2 more that I've already read and unhauled. So that's not actually bad. 50%. I read 50% of them. 50% are going to the Unhaul pile unread. So I did get to half of them. But as I just said, the difference between the books that I'm picking up and the ones that I'm unhauling unread, we have a mystery, like a sci-fi thriller, a middle grade contemporary, and then the other 2 I've read was a thriller and a sci-fi. And then of the ones that I'm unhauling, we have 4 fantasy, or like that could be more sci-fi maybe, and a dystopian. So I'm not reaching for the fantasy I'm putting on my unhaul cart, which is interesting. Another year has passed and another set of books have been unhauled. The 2022 version of Self-Destructing books is going to be coming very soon as well. If you guys are at all interested in what I'm possibly going to be self-destructing next year, and given what I've just said, like, I already know what books are going to be going onto that list. They're all fantasy, so it's going to be real interesting when we revisit next year to see if I actually picked any of those up. But that is about it for this video, guys. So let me know down below whether I was gonna say whether you're sad about me unhauling any of these books. Please don't, because then I feel guilty, and it also makes me really conflicted, because even though I've said that I'm not interested in them, I always think like, oh, but maybe I should give them a try. But no, none of that energy anymore, Becca. We need to stop. Down in my comments, I don't know, say hi. Just say hi. And once again, of course, a big thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. But please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.